we learned from COVID? You remember what we learned about ourselves from like the lockdowns and like all that kind of stuff? Now the lockdowns are done. You know, people are starting to go places. A lot of people have been traveling, which is a good thing because that means we're back, baby. But you know what I'm afraid of? I'm afraid that we're gonna forget what we learned in COVID. I remember a lot that I learned in COVID. I learned a lot about myself. I deleted social media for a while. There were a lot of different things that I learned about myself during COVID. But I'm starting to notice, I think we're starting to lose what we learned. And we're starting to revert back into what it was before, which I don't know if that's a good thing. Before we get going here, guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at pats.thoughts. As we're starting to open up, as things are starting to really kind of take shape, this summer's gonna be, I think, gonna be great. We have 4th of July coming up. Today is Memorial Day. Happy Memorial Day. Now, as we move forward with this summer, I'm starting to notice that a lot of different people are really starting to take advantage of the no mask mandate. People are starting to travel a little bit more, which are all very good things. However, I think we might be reverting back into pre-COVID. We need to start thinking about post-COVID. Like, what does that look like? I hope it looks different than it was pre-COVID, because in the middle of COVID, we started to realize maybe some of the things that we had, maybe some of the stuff that we were packing our schedules with, maybe aren't really that important. The extracurriculars that you thought were just like important didn't really bring you joy. It just gave you something to do. We need to really start asking ourselves the questions as things start to come back open. Does this really bring me joy? And if it doesn't bring you joy, if it doesn't complete you, or it just agonizes you, or just makes you anxious, then maybe it's not something that you should be doing. It's okay to let things go. It's okay to cut things off. You know, if it doesn't bring you joy, all you have to do is just say, thanks for what it was in the time that it gave me, and then just let it go and move on. There's a really good book out there, Joy at Work. I read this during COVID. It was really, really interesting. Marie Kondo. Basically, she's like a tidying expert. My desk is messy. Whoops. I'm gonna clean that up later. I love cleaning. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we don't. Cleaning sucks. You can just go and clean like all your stuff. That'd be great. I don't want to clean. If you can't clean it, you can't keep it together. Can't have nice things. Fine! So anyway, one of the things that she talks about in her book is just, she was talking about organizing like your workspace. You have a place for everything. And if it's something that is just there and you haven't touched in a long time, doesn't really need to be there. And one of the things that she says in the book, if you're done with the item, if it's not bringing you any more joy, you basically have to do this. Thank you for what you gave me. And thank you for all that I learned from having you a part of my work life desk thing or whatever. Now it's time for me to move on. That's basically what you do. That was my pocket Constitution. I just threw the Constitution. I'm so sorry! I didn't mean to throw the Constitution away. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I mean, what are we talking about? Politicians do it all the time, so. So anyway, I think that we need to really start to examine as things open back up and we're giving more and more opportunities to do more and more things. We need to start asking ourselves that question. Does this thing bring me joy? I think there's a lot of people who are gonna remember exactly everything that they learned during COVID, during the lockdowns, during when nothing else was happening. And they're gonna continue on with life. There are gonna be some people out there who will revert back to what they were before COVID. And I think that is not a good thing. Even though it was hard, it was terrible, a lot of people died. And I'm so sorry for those individuals and those families who were affected by it and who got sick. Although it was hard, we learned about ourselves in those moments. And if you didn't learn about yourselves, you didn't take advantage of the opportunity to do it. Now you have the opportunity to really ask yourself the question, does this thing bring me joy? I'll be completely honest with you guys. I do have a TikTok, but I'm starting to realize that that app really doesn't bring me joy. It doesn't really do anything for me. I think there are some funny TikTokers. It doesn't bring joy, to me at least. It might bring joy to others. I find myself so sucked into it. I think I'm gonna be on there for 5 minutes and it ends up being like 30. It just takes up more and more of my time. And I've made a few TikToks. It's not bringing me the joy that like this does. So anyway, ask yourself the question, what activities bring you joy? Take a look at your calendar for the week. Put it on your desk and take a look at each day and ask yourself, each activity, does it bring me joy? And if it doesn't, then maybe it's not an activity that you need to be doing. Maybe there's another opportunity for you to do something else that brings you joy. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't not do stuff. Volunteering and being a part of organizations or being part of church or community organizations, stuff like that, that's all great. I think people should be involved in those kind of stuff. I don't know you and I don't know your life, but I'm just telling you that if it doesn't bring you joy, if it doesn't bring you this sense of like good accomplishment, if you don't go to bed at night good tired, maybe something to kind of rethink and re-examine. I'm just sitting here thinking, let's remember what we learned. I'm just re-examining stuff that brings me joy. And if it doesn't bring me joy, maybe it's not something I want to do. Maybe it's something I really need to re-examine. Thank you for watching The Weekly Thought. Join me next week. We'll talk about something new. Cheers!